Hello, Mayor Jeff Schielke speaking to you on, I guess, what I would describe as Thanksgiving weekend. It is Friday, November 27th, 2020, and I'm hoping that everybody is, we're doing this on Friday morning, so I'm hoping everybody had a nice Thanksgiving yesterday. We had a little bit different one than we normally have. Normally on Thanksgiving out on Randall Road and in some of the downtown areas, we have people open up and go to business. And last night, everybody was shut down other than Walgreens, so it was a pretty, not much traffic in downtown Batavia last night, but hopefully today we're starting to get out and get things going. So I'm hoping everybody's enjoying the holiday season. As long as we're talking about that, I want to make mention encourage you all to come down and walk the Christmas tree display of all the trees that various organizations in Batavia have put together that are on the Batavia Riverwalk. And when you do it, it's probably a good time to come. It's just between, well, it's still a little bit light and sunset, and you get to see and read the cards and see the ornaments and the light. And then if you stay a few minutes, it'll get dark and you can see the lights with on all the trees. And I'm just very pleased with our city departments who have risen to the, Public Works has risen to the occasion and has done a tremendous job of putting up all the Christmas lights that we can in downtown Batavia. And we have all the traditional sites. We have the long-standing tree on the South Island that you look at from looking south off the Wilson Street Bridge. And we also have the Peace on Earth signs on the pedestrian bike bridge that's north of the Wilson Street Bridge with the big new letters calling Peace on Earth. And we also have the Charlie tree up, which I know a number, I'm not going to say where it is, but it's up. It's the all red Christmas ornament tree that's hanging on one of our city light poles. And that's a tribute to Charlie Chemis, who was our longtime foreman of our city water utility. And Charlie wanted a tree because he was a native of Mexico and he wanted to have a Mexican Spanish Christmas tree in the display. And so Public Works, it started out as kind of a joke on Charlie, but now it's become kind of a community tradition, and I know some families get in the car and ride the town just to look for the Charlie tree. So that's all out there, and I like to think we've got perhaps more decorations up now in downtown Batavia than maybe we've ever had before, a little bit different formats. We've wrapped the right light poles downtown, and we've got some Christmas trees, and we've got a combination of different things. So we are ready for the Christmas season, so please come out and enjoy it, and bring your family out and invite your relatives to come out and see it. The one thing I do want to talk some serious for a moment, very serious. The coronavirus obviously has not gone away. Our numbers continue to creep up as far as the number of people who are diagnosed to have it. And hopefully most of them are under being quarantined and are getting treatment. And we are watching that very carefully. Our number still continues to be one of the lower ones in the Chicagoland area, which I think speaks to the dedication and cooperation we're getting from all the merchants as they go forward and try to put things together that allow their businesses to be open. The one thing that seems to have really caught on in Batavia has been the ordering of carry-out food. And we have a number of our restaurants that are offering special menu items and, are doing a great job. They'll either let Uber pick it up and deliver it to you, or you can come and get it yourself. There's a lot of different ways to get it, and it's very good food. There's everything from turkey dinners to hamburgers to Spanish food to Chinese food. There's a little bit of everything out there. So we've got a Chamber of Commerce and Main Street and the city have published a little packet that shows all the restaurants and where they're at and what their phone numbers are. So if you don't have one, stop down at City Hall and we can give you one. But we really are trying to support our local restaurants. I know there's been a couple of activities put together by Main Street and the Chamber of Commerce to do that, and I don't want to get into their thunder on that, but we really do want to support the restaurants in what has been a very trying time. With us going into phase 3, we've had to take further reductions in business civility and places. One that I can think of that I know has taken a little bit of a reduction as Funway down on South River Street. They can't do all the things that they normally have done, but hopefully we're going to get through this very quickly, and we'll be allowing everybody to hopefully begin to phase and reopen. So keep your eyes and ears open for that, because as soon as we can, we will try to do that. We are constantly watching what's going on. We have face masks at City Hall. If anybody needs a pack, we can drop in and we can give you one, or we keep them in the police and fire departments, have them in their vehicles, and we can distribute them from those folks. So we're trying to do everything we can. This is a year unlike any we've ever had. It's a whole new way of doing things and doing business, and so we're trying to write hopefully a strong history of what Batavia did during this, so that if this ever happens again, future generations can look back and read about what was done and what worked and what didn't work, and we'll get everything supported. Another serious note I want to just talk about is the Batavia Police Department continues to have numerous reports on a daily basis regarding identity theft. And one of the most common ones that we're dealing with is it's reporting that people who are being unemployed and therefore should be applying to the state of Illinois for unemployment benefits. And last week I think I mentioned that the chief told us that since May 1st, we had 190 reports of identity theft by that means in the city of Batavia. And I know in looking at the police reports this past week that number is well over 200 now with the volume that we're dealing with. Another thing that we're finding is we have people having their credit card numbers lifted from them, and people are having some issues with that. So we got that going on, and so I really would be cautious for you if somebody calls up and says, well, here's the program, I want to do this or that for you, and give me your credit card number. Make sure you know who you're talking to, because this has become a very serious problem in recent months with the Batavia Police Department, and we, along with everybody else, are trying to deal with it. The Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus, where I sit on the executive board, recently had an opportunity to have a meeting with Governor Pritzker, and we talked about various issues, and then we subsequently had a second meeting with his chief of staff, and one of the things that we talked about was all this identity theft that's going on, and so that has generated a lot of news media coverage on TV about it. So we're not the only town that's experiencing this, but I just want everybody to be aware that that's out there and that's what's going on. But probably the highlight of today's is I want to talk about the spirit of generosity and giving that I'm finding is very much alive and well in Batavia. And I've personally witnessed some phenomenal opportunities just in the past few days where I've seen the true heart and soul of some very kind and wondrous people who have shown up and presented checks to us for very nice amounts of money to help our various programs. And two that are standing out in my mind and are being really taxed. One is the Batavia Food Pantry operation, Interfaith Food Pantry operation down on Flynn Street at Shumway down south of downtown. I was down there on Wednesday night, and they had a huge stream of folks coming in and were being given food for the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. I know that Eileen, who is the chief executive director down there, has shared with me her concerns that we keep this up because she knows she's going to have a big demand at Christmas time over the holidays. So any donations to the Batavia Interfaith Food Pantry would be most welcome, although I want to thank those who, in their heart of gold that they have, has already stepped forward and done that. And the other one that I want to mention, who is in need of, not need, or is certainly in need, but is getting them, is the Access Toy Drive that's run by Roy and Jeannie Bailey and their family. And that one has, again this week, I've seen some wondrous people with sparkle in their eyes as they gave checks. One gave a check to me and was just you could tell how good and kind this person was by the willingness of everybody to step forward and give money to help the Access Toy Drive. Because one of the things we have to do this year, back in the old days, we used to take broken toys to the fire station, and Bud Richter and the one fireman on duty each day would spend their day repairing bicycles and dolls and toys. Well, now with the concern with Corona and everything, we've decided that everything we're going to give away this year has to be in its original boxed, sealed, carrying case or box or whatever it's in. And so we got to get all kind of new stuff. And so that's where this money becomes very important to us, because we are, again, receiving some efforts of support from local businesses who are willing to give us some stuff at half price or whatever their costs are, so that we can supply toys to needy children at Christmas time. And so we're going to be doing this. I believe it's going to be the second weekend in December is going to be the toy distribution date that we're going to. And what this is that we, through the food pantry and through the school system and through conversations with the police department, we know who we think are the families in Batavia that may need some support. And so we send them off a letter and invite them to come to the toy drive, and you got to bring your letter, and because we have a lot of people from other towns come in and try to crash this thing and see what a great program Batavia has, and we don't have the ability to serve everybody from outside the community. So we have, as I say, we have some very generous givers. We have a couple of people that are annual givers of quite nice sums of money. And so I just want to publicly thank, I can't name them, but I just like to acknowledge them and say you are wondrous, and your passion for being a heart of gold is really showing through and through. Although if you know these people, you realize that they really do have hearts of gold and are the kindest individuals that God has put on this earth. So we like to think that we are a nice town. And as the mayor, you get the opportunity to kind of see this firsthand. You kind of get to know who some of these folks are. And that's one of the high points of this job. There's a lot of down points to it, but one of the high points is you do get to know where the good people are and what they're doing. And we do have a lot of nice people in this community. So we are in the Christmas season, so we want to keep this the Christmas season and keep a positive message going. And one more thing before I conclude here. We had to go ahead and obviously do something different this year for our annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony, which is always a big event that attracts well over 1,000 people to downtown on the Sunday night of Thanksgiving weekend. So it would be this coming Sunday when we were going to do it. Given our concerns about the corona and the spreading and whatever, and the number of small children that are involved in this, we had to make the decision not to do it this year in the form that it's normally been done. But what we did do is we went ahead and we pre-filmed a Christmas tree lighting, and we've kept the lights of the tree off here till Sunday night. And so if you drive by, you still see the tree, which is down here by the Pig Bond Center. It doesn't have any lights on it, and or it's got the lights on, but they're on it, but they're not on. And we are going to be having a opening of that. We're going to show it on BATV, on Batavia Cable Access, this coming Sunday night at 5 o'clock, and then it'll be repeated a number of times after that. But I give a little speech, and Craig Photos, who is historically always the master of ceremonies, gives a little talk, as does Allison Nehemiah, the executive director of the Batavia Park District. So we are there to kind of set the stage and get the thing going. But again, this all fits in with hopefully our phenomenal amount of Christmas decorations we put up in downtown Batavia this year. And I'd encourage you all to watch that and let your children watch it and get more into the spirit. And so I wanted to end on that one, and I will look forward to talking to you next week and have some fun out there looking at the Christmas decorations and doing some shopping. See you next week.